Hello, Alice. Welcome.
Morning. How are you, Robin?
Good morning. It's Tuesday. I'm so happy that we're doing this today. Very exciting. And welcome to all of our viewers today. So today we are going to have the Partner Spotlight where we introduce you to a range of Salesforce partners in a series of quick-fire interviews so that you get to know the people behind the products and services. I'll be your host today. I'm Robin Leonard, based in Sydney, Australia. I'm the CEO and co-founder of AFDigital. On today's show, we have a very special guest, Alice Hodgson, who is the managing director of one of AFDigital's sister companies, TrainTheCrowd. TrainTheCrowd develop and deliver user adoption programs and customized training to support people before, during, and after implementation of Salesforce, Microsoft, or Qualtrics. They have empowered over 20,000 people and 400 businesses across 12 countries. Hello, Alice. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great. All right. Well, let's get into the questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I am ready. Great. Well, let's start off. Why don't you tell us about TrainTheCrowd in a few sentences, please?
Cool. So TrainTheCrowd, I founded TrainTheCrowd about 10 years ago. So we had our 10 years celebration this year, which was very exciting. And we design, develop, and deliver custom training programs for companies who use cloud-based applications. So that is primarily Salesforce, Microsoft, and Qualtrics. So we have a specialization in the CRM space, and we have a team which are based in Sydney and Melbourne at this point.
Fantastic. I think it's the training and adoption is something every company needs to really pay attention to as they're investing in these CRM technologies. Tell us, what kind of clients do you work with mostly, Alice?
Yeah, so we work with a large variety of clients. I guess any company who has a need for a CRM, then they may have a need for a training program, and that ranges from large enterprise clients, so telcos, all the way down to small businesses where there might be sort of 5 or 10 people, a handful of salespeople, and we can develop training programs at scale for large enterprises or down to smaller clients as well. And it's across all different industries. So we have a variety from, like I said, telco, FinServe, small retail clients, a variety of different industries, which keeps it interesting for our team members.
Oh, that's great. And out of that wide range, what's your ideal client look like?
Yeah, so ideally they're doing some form of digital transformation, implementing one of those applications, and it could be that we engage with them. Ideally, it's at the beginning of their journey, and so we help work with them around what does the sort of training and adoption program going to look like. It might be that they've already done their implementation, and 6 to 12 months later, there's been a change of team members, a change of key stakeholders, and/or the business has changed, or the people haven't adopted it in the way that they wanted to. So post go live is also an opportunity for us to come in and help boost their user adoption.
Very good. And after working with you, what results do customers typically start seeing?
Yeah, so ideally we give them a lot more confidence to use the tools that they've been given. So a lot of them are changing from a sort of a legacy system, or maybe it's not in a system, maybe there's a bunch of spreadsheets and different tools that they're currently using, and they're moving to, I guess, a more sophisticated system. So they want to still be able to do their job as they have done in the past. So we give them a confidence to be able to continue to do that, and also provide them with some leave behind. So they're not going to remember everything that we show them, but we put together a bunch of support materials that can then be where they go to afterwards, and also upskill key people, so super users at that company, to make sure there's a go-to expert who they can refer to as well.
Yeah, great. Because it's one thing to, have invested in all this technology if your users don't have the confidence to actually use the tools, and you're just not going to get value out of them as an organization.
Yes, that's right.
What do you need to get a training program going?
Yeah, so I guess firstly, some budget is helpful, and key team members on, I guess, the client side who will help share the information that we need to do what we do effectively. So a subject matter expert who can explain or share all the processes and the sort of end state of what they're wanting their users to do. And then, yeah, I guess a system that is in some form of a ready state for us to start developing training materials. So that might be after go live, or it could be in the planning stages. We wouldn't sort of start developing some of the content until maybe in a implementation sort of around the build UAT phases, as where we can start to see how the system's shaping up and really refine what the training program is going to look like. But we can do a lot of the planning before that. So a system either in planning stage or after go live would be ideal.
Yeah, it's actually something that, you know, obviously we go through a lot of implementations, and it's often the thing that isn't really that formally thought about is the training plan on once you actually go live with your Salesforce projects. And it's often like there'll be a train the trainer or something small, but really where we see success is where there's a bigger investment made in training, and there's planning, as Alice said, all the way through that project life cycle, and then a lot of the execution as you're getting to UAT on building out the content and making sure the users have training materials and you know, the reference information on how to actually do their new job using these tools.
Yeah, and these days it's easier, I guess, to share a lot of information with the whole audience rather than just the project team, so all the users along the way. So by the time they get to the training session, it's not so new and foreign to them. They've maybe seen what it looks like, maybe they've attended showcases, maybe there's been content shared with them up until the training time. And then, yeah, I guess where we see most success is people then investing post go live. So rather than here's your training, off you go, good luck, it's then how do we continue, 30, 60, 90 days down the path to continue to review and improve once people start using the application.
Yeah, so it's so important. I mean, if you think about the percentage of value you would get, and no one knows the answer to this, but if you just think conceptually, I'm going to get, say, 50% of the 100% value out of my Salesforce investment by implementing it. Maybe the other 50% would be by training people how to use it and making sure they have an actual way to use it. And without really leaning into that other side, you may only get 20% of that value when they just do the minimum of what they've been taught how to do. So it's really like a considerable part of the value equation for a project. Yeah, very interesting. Well, the learning and development space is always changing. What trends are you forecasting, and how will this change your training service?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we've seen a shift in the last few years with people working more from home, and that the traditional classroom style training was not a possibility. So that went remote, and we had to shift in terms of the way or the duration of the training sessions. People weren't happy to be online for a whole day in a training session, so we had to reduce the duration and do more smaller sessions, which has been very effective. And what we're seeing now is a move towards sort of reimagining some of the support material, so how you leave behind information for people to use. And we've partnered with a digital adoption platform that allows people to have like a layer over the top of the cloud-based application. It can go across multiple. So if you're using Salesforce and then it plugs into another system as part of your process, the help can continue across both of the applications. And it provides things like guided tours. So rather than open up a user guide and follow the steps, you can be guided over on the application. It also, for an onboarding experience or a new process that's been launched, you can provide people particular tasks that are assigned to them and they have to tick off their task list. It can provide embed videos. It can still have traditional step-by-step instructions as well. So if people have a library of reference materials that they want to surface up easily, rather than expect people to go to the intranet and try and find it, then these tools allow that to happen over the top of the application. It's also got some amazing insights that you can ask it sort of to track the clicks that people are doing and see where they're dropping out of a process or where they're having trouble, and then help to either change the system, the process, or provide some extra help to the users. So I guess admins are really excited by the ability to foresee what problems people are having and then fix them to help with that user adoption.
Wow. So the future of training is actually in embedded kind of self-managing training applications. They sit on top of the CRM like Salesforce, and within the UI, they'll actually show the users what to do and how to onboard them correctly. So as a training services business, the future for you is it more implementing these tools and setting them up with the right guidance tailored for the process that's been implemented?
Yeah, correct. So then we'd implement the platform and also help sort of design what the content experience should be, what the user experience of that help, similar to how we would have if we were putting together other help materials, but it provides a nicer user experience, I guess, for the person who wants to be guided. Because if they sort of halfway along go, oh yeah, I remember the rest of the steps, they can sort of cut out of the processing and continue on their own. So it's very tailored to each individual's, I guess, user learning experience, which is also great. So there's not one size fits all. Everyone can have their own tailored experience.
That's great. So it's like a modern day Clippy for Salesforce.
Correct. And
Very
actually,
good.
Salesforce have started to implement their own tool, sort of adoption tool that you can subscribe to. So there's different adoption platforms, and Salesforce have also built their own one.
Amazing. Oh, that's great. It's really good to look into the future of what training and adoption will look like. I'm sure at the end of the day, people will still sometimes just want to sit in a classroom and have someone kind of force feed them the information a little bit, right?
Of course, or just ask your colleague, because sometimes, it's
Yeah,
nice to have a
that's
chat,
right.
isn't it?
Great. Well, last question. How can customers get in touch about creating training for their team?
Right, so we're partnering with AFDigital, and it's a great partnership. We share an office together, so we work quite closely. And if there are existing clients of yours, Robin, that are looking to get help with their user adoption, then it could be reaching out to you to see how you can engage with us. Alternatively, direct to us. We have a website where a lot of our team are on LinkedIn actively. We have a LinkedIn page, so feel free to follow us there. And I guess the process that we'd go through is just an initial discovery session with you to understand where you're at, and then provide a recommendation on what we would suggest is the best next steps.
Wonderful. Thank you, Alice. And yeah, for our existing customers, we can subcontract TrainTheCrowd through our existing contracts. So especially for our Team X customers, if you'd like to reach out to us and get a learning needs assessment or some advisory around training and adoption for Salesforce CRM, just reach out to us, reach out to your project manager, and we can bill under that current contract. So there's kind of no additional hassle needed. So with AFDigital, you now get a full suite of training services. Wonderful. Well, it's been such a pleasure, Alice. Thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, have a great week. Any final words?
Oh, yeah, we look forward to meeting everyone who joined in the live stream. Please reach out.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks for having me, Robin.
Thank you, Alice. Have a great day.
You too.